The movie starts with Captain Brodie Torrance in Singapore, calling his daughter Daniela as he plans to come to home in Honolulu to spend time with her for the holiday. Brodie, a former RAF pilot, is flying Trailblazer Airlines Flight 119, and he reaches to meet his co-pilot, Samuel Delhi, who notifies Brodie that they are going to fly through a storm. Bonnie, the chief flight attendant, informs Brodie that he is needed to meet Officer Shellback. The officer informs Brodie that they are transporting a killer and former French Foreign Legion soldier named Louis Gaspard. As the flight gets ready for takeoff, we see other passengers, such as young social media influencers and a superior businessman. While in the air, as they move over the South China Sea, the plane encounters heavy turbulence when it passes through the storm. The storm gets worse, leading to the plane suffering damage, and Brodie injures his head in the commotion. The flight attendant stewardess is killed, and Shellback also dies after being smashed around when the plane starts going down. Brodie and Delhi have to manage control without comms and radar, carrying it to a safer balance. Understanding the damages are too heavy, they have to make an emergency landing. The pilots discover an island and make a crash landing. Once everything becomes calm, Brodie has the passengers get out of the plane. He and Delhi study there on the Jolo Island. In New York City, at Trailblazer's headquarters, the board of directors is met by their crisis manager, Scarsdale, to try and locate the plane and passengers. Brodie attempts to keep Louis away and secured from the other passengers due to his violent history. Brodie all of it with Delhi and Bonnie to keep the passengers calm and to find a way to call for help. Delhi states Brodie that Jolo is operated by violent rebels, meaning they risk putting everyone in danger the longer they are there. The rebels, led by Chief Datu Junmar, catch wind of the plane's crash landing and hope to gain from the passengers. Meanwhile, Brodie drives with Louis into the forest to discover a way to contact for help. Back in New York City, Scarsdale and the board review Brodie's history file, highlighting a video of an incident where Brodie held an aggressive passenger in a chokehold until he passed out after the man beat Brodie when he tried to calm down a dispute. Scarsdale plans to send a private military team to save everyone once the plane is tracked since they know of the threat on the island. In Honolulu, Daniela's aunt tells her of the news that her father's plane went down. Brodie reaches a building where Brodie manages to telephone an agent from Trailblazers who originally doesn't believe him because she claims they have been receiving lots of crank calls over the missing flight. Brodie also speaks to his daughter Daniela before he is attacked by a rebel. Brodie fights the man until he is able to kill him. Upon further inspection of the building, Brodie and Louis realize that the rebels used the building to torment and videotape their victims for ransom money. The two hurry back to the plane but find that Junmar and his goons have already made it there. A Korean woman tries to flee, only for one of the rebels to shoot her. Her husband is then brutally killed. The rebels progress to take everyone else hostage while Brodie and Louis hide. Once the rebels leave, the two moderate a remaining rebel and known that Junmar is taking everyone to a nearby village. While Brodie write a message for rescue team, then Brodie and Louis decide to follow and rescue everyone. As the two head into the village, Junmar starts forcing the hostages to tell their names and home countries for their ransom video. The military team reaches on the island but they find nobody near the plane, only the bodies of Shellback and the stewardess, along with a message from Brodie. Brodie and Louis get into the village and kill some more rebels before locating and freeing the hostages. Everyone gets entered onto a bus while Brodie stays behind to let them get out. Junmar and his men beat him and ready to kill him. Fortunately, the military team arrived and begins to open fire on the rebels. After the fight, Junmar finds his brother among the dead, lashing his cause against the others to become more personal. Everyone arrives back to the plane and boards it. The Trailblazers board says about having Brodie fly the plane since it is so damaged and could potentially kill everyone on board. Junmar and his men reach the plane and fire on the passengers. Louis joins the military men as they fight the rebels, and Louis decide on to remain on the island since he has no future going back, and he found a bag of some money. With most of the rebels dead, Brodie and Delhi make an effort to get the plane moving. Junmar tries to fire an RPG at the plane, but Brody lifts it high enough in the air that he executes Junmar by smashing into him with the plane's wheels. Brody then gets signal from headquarters. Brody then plans to land at a nearby runway in CRC with the amount of fuel they have left. After a bit of hurly-burly, Brody can safely land, causing everyone at headquarters to cheer. As the passengers settle down, Brody calls Daniela and let her know he is coming home. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe our channel for more videos.